Please let me introduce the very lovely Valerie Kelley-Bonner. Valerie is the founder and executive director of Strategies to Overcome Obstacles and Avoid Recidivism, which is also known as SOAR. She considers herself as the CPO, Chief People Officer, with over 20 years of leadership experience across multiple industries. Valerie is most fulfilled when she is empowering others and has a global responsibility for the engagement, development, and empowerment of the world's greatest asset, its people. Valerie's work is informed by her deep understanding of the unique challenges disenfranchised and marginalized individuals face. She is specifically attuned to the challenges of people who use drugs, the African American community, and more importantly, the potential. I just want to shout out Valerie, who was also one of our speakers last month in the harm reduction virtual series that we're hosting. We still have one more session left, but Valerie has been pouring into this space. We love you and we thank you.
Thank you, Shiva. Thank you so much. So, I don't know who has my slides, one of the IT people? Okay, great. I'm happy to be in this space. I lost my mother 2 days ago. And she was colorful. She's supposed to be sitting here with me today, and she probably would have had, whatever color outfit she would have had on, her hair would have matched. So I'm shouting out to the young lady back there with the green hair, because if she had on a green outfit, she was gonna have a green wig. So thank you. Let's get into this. I'm honored to be here. I called this presentation Empower and Protect. People shouldn't die because they get high. So I'm going to say that again. Because while we were eating, someone was dying. While we're meeting and talking about what we need, somebody's dying. I'm tired of meeting knowing that people are dying, and I leave the room without what I need to help them live. So let's talk about it. Next slide, please. So, SOAR, it's been around for 25 years, but we've been on the harm reduction scene for the last 4, and I have a dynamic team. Ashley Shukite is one of the best harm reductionists nationally known, and Ashley Shukite is my public health person, and on my team we use her white privilege and my black power, and we get it done. So I give a shout out to her today. We are not in the business of forcing transformation on anybody. We just create an environment where transformation can take place. Next slide, please. Why are we here? The war on drugs. That's how we got here. We didn't bring the drugs into our community, but we suffer the repercussions of them being in our community. You know, and I often wonder, and I love the data walk, but I often wonder when I look at it and we say, oh, Detroit has the highest amount of overdoses. But did you check the driver's license? Because the people probably came from across 8 Mile or somewhere. They just happened to die here. But I don't think we go that far when we're looking into it. But that doesn't even matter. It matters that somebody died when they could have lived. We have to go beyond Narcan. And when I started this work, I was asked a lot of questions. But then I started asking questions like, where was the antidote when crack was killing us? You didn't come up. It was a crime then. It wasn't a disease. We didn't have nothing to put in nobody's nose. Then what happened? I'm going to still do the work, though. But I'm just asking. There was no answers for that. But now that we do have something, let's do our best with what we have. Next slide, please. So when she said reimagine, let's do that. Everyday examples, you put your seatbelt on, you have helmets, you have sunscreen, all of that stuff is harm reduction, it's not new. But when you want to talk about historical harm reduction, There were trans people, my trans brothers and sisters started some movements way back in the 70s. The Black Panthers started some movements way back in the 70s. This is not new. It's been around. But it just took some of us to stand up. A lot of people to die for it to get recognized by the privileged for us to stand up. But it's not new. It's been around. We have substance-specific harm reduction, nicotine patches to help you stop smoking, designated drivers when you're drinking and driving, coffee and sugar substitutes. And you know, my favorite is the blood pressure pill because I eat and I have high blood pressure. But I'm going to eat that swine because I know that pill is in my system and I can get away with those 2 pieces of bacon for a couple of days. That's harm reduction too. So what I'm asking, give us a code of ethics to follow to ensure we give a person compassion, love, dignity, no matter if what they're doing makes sense to us. That's what harm reduction is. It don't have to make sense to us. We just need a code of ethics, some love, some compassion, resources, and SOAR needs some money. I get to watch all the other large organizations do all of this work, and we'll do it for free, and we basically are. Pam basically is. But we're boots on the ground in the encampments. We're open after 5 o'clock. We're out on Sunday. We're up on Monday morning early. We're answering our phone that Saturday night, and I'm not beating up on the larger organizations who close at 5 o'clock, but we don't. We need help. We need resources. I need HIV kits for personal testing. I can give out 50 a week. I need all of that. I need a pro bono lawyer. So when we do pass out syringes and somebody gets caught with 2 of them, it's a true story, 2 syringes clean in a backpack. The police knew he was houseless, and he walked across the railroad tracks, and he said that's a felonious thing because you're trespassing over federal property because you're not supposed to walk over the overpass of a railroad track. So I'm spending hours and hours and hours with Ashley going to court, writing letters because I can't say, well, the state of Michigan gave me the syringes and I gave them to him. That's what happened, though. But that didn't count when I had to go to court. I need some help. Next slide, please. I feel like Harriet Tubman creating an underground railroad because there's such a big disconnect from out Wayne County to Detroit. It makes my stomach sick. So I give people supplies when I fight to get them. I have to stand in front of city council, get permission for them to put the ordinance on the books, and it's not there. I was the first to do that in Inkster, but not the first to do the work. It was underground. It was underground, and it still is, because if somebody gets syringes from me in out Wayne County and they get caught with them into Detroit, they're getting a paraphernalia ticket. I need help. Next slide, please. Harm reduction in BIPOC communities. Policy and policing, we already know that needs some reform and that needs some changing. We already know that. Community engagement, building trust, and engaging with Black communities means the local leaders, the people who have the money, the people who have the power, the people who have the privilege, the people who have the capacity. We need your help. We need a full, I never liked out Wayne County and Wayne County anyway. I thought segregation was over. I don't even know who brought that back because it don't make sense to me. We are one county, and I don't even know why we separated. That separation has caused some problems with this work. We need your help. Next slide, please. Am I right, Judy? So here we go again, the Harriet Tubman syndrome, because I went in front of Inkster and got that on the books. Then I went to Van Buren Township and got that on the books. I'm literally the modern day Harriet Tubman because I'm creating a city by city underground harm reduction railroad to keep my people safe once they get supplies from us to get to 94. I shouldn't be doing that. I need your help. Why can't the Detroit Police Department, the Detroit Health Department, Detroit City stakeholders recognize all MDHHS providers in Wayne County? They can. We've been trying. We've talked to the health department. We've talked to other people. We have to jump through all of these hoops. If we are doing work for Detroit Wayne, if we're doing work for MDHHS, we should be all in this together. We don't need a monopoly or a silo when people are dying. I need your help, Dr. Asabiji. You listening to me? I need your help. Give us a code of ethics to follow to ensure we give a person compassion, love, and dignity, no matter if what they are doing makes sense to us. Next slide, please. Empower and protect. Nothing for them without them. Nothing for us without us. There are decisions being made for people who do the work that I've never been involved of, conversations never been involved of, never been even thought of, probably. So I thank Sheba and DJC for even letting me amplify my voice of a very, very, very small nonprofit with very, very, very little resources and funds to even hold this microphone today. And I'm going to say what I want to say in case y'all don't have me back. So my daddy is a preacher anyway, so timekeeper, how am I doing? Okay, because my daddy a preacher, I'll talk you in the ground. So we want better protection for our programs. We want better protection for our participants. People have had their cards. Again, if they have a SOAR card, they get stopped with clean syringes in Detroit. It's not recognized. That's a paraphernalia ticket. We don't need that to occur. The same thing will occur if we reverse it. If one of your participants have a card from DRP and they come out to Van Buren Township, they're getting a paraphernalia ticket. That shouldn't be. It should be recognized. And I'm shouting out for the House bills that Ashley and Pam and all of them, they passed so far. We waiting on something to happen this Thursday so it can get into fruition, but House Bill 5178 and 79 hopefully will get us where we want to be, but still cities will probably try to opt out like they did with marijuana or whatever, but so what? We'll just be, y'all saw my van outside. If you came late with my picture on it, I'll pull up on you. But that is working. I am asking, and I'm glad that the convening has happened, and I think this is a part of that mental health harm reduction coalition structure. I'm glad that Dr. Asabiji is here. I'm glad that Judy is here from DWIN. We need the new sheriff in town to be here. We need the new police chief in town to be here tonight. We need to all have this conversation so we can stop bunny hopping through these hoops and, really get the work done. Next slide, please. Safe spaces equal healthy lives. Get rid of the barriers. I was helping a lady. She was going to be induced last Wednesday, but evicted last Monday. And so I was trying to find some resources for her. And they said, does she have a homeless ID number? I said, what the hell is that? You need an ID number to be homeless? I just cussed, didn't I? I got to do the Mike Tyson and bite my fist because I do cuss a lot. And I've been doing good. That's my first time, and I'm going to try not to do that again. But why do you need a homeless ID number to be homeless? That makes zero sense to me. But anyway, We need our safe spaces to be healthy. How do you expect someone who went in your facility and dropped dirty now go see one of your counselors and tell them all their business? I don't get that either. They're not. So that's why our outcomes get impacted. Interconnected systems, and they don't trust them. They come and tell me all the time when they leave your facilities how they feel about it. So we have to change some things. Next slide, please. Trust building within systems. We're expected to move at the speed of trust, but operate under the realization we are part of a system that can never be fully trusted and causes harm. We're in the street, in the trenches. We build trust with our participants. We try to hand them over to some of the organizations, and they're like, never. I'm not going there. I'm not doing that. I don't trust them. I've been stigmatized. I've been ostracized. And you know, let me say this. There are layers to this work. There are people who will walk through the doors of some of these places and do exactly what you want them to do, fill out all the paperwork and tell all their business. They'll do that. But then there are some people who are not going to do that. And those are the people I'm talking about. Those people. How do we get to those people? Next slide, please. Harm reduction should empower and protect. It's a movement of social justice built on a belief in and respect for the rights of people who use drugs. So let's focus on shifting power and resources to the people most vulnerable to structural violence through an anti-oppressive healing justice framework. We got to recognize their trauma and honor their survival and give them healing without glorifying or condemning them. Just be neutral. And like you said, just show love. Next slide, please. Safer, not savior. Exercise charitable choice. We have churches on every corner, storefronts, by the liquor store, large church, small church, every kind of church. Here is a church. You know, so, okay. But if I come into there for some services or whatever, I might not want your prayer. If I'm suicidal, I've already prayed to God and done all of these things you want to talk to me about. So the first thing I'm going to do is shut down. I've done all of that stuff. I need something else. So I think a church is a safe space and supposed to be non-judgmental. Didn't I say I was a preacher daughter? My own daddy judged me. So it's supposed to be, but I'm not sure. And I'm not saying it's intentional, but it is associated to religiosity more so than Christianity, because you see, Jesus, every miracle he performed began with a problem. He didn't wait for them to come knock on his door and fill out all his paperwork. He didn't do that. He went where the people was. He helped them. So I'm hoping that we can do better utilizing some of our churches to exercise Christianity and not religiosity and be some of the hubs that can help us. Next slide, please. Y'all quiet, amen, lights. That is it. But I do want to say, and how am I doing on time? Oh, I do. Okay, good. Well, then let's have a conversation because I'm way ahead of time. And I didn't want to continuously just keep talking and run out of time. So let's go back over some of these things. Number one, doing harm reduction work as a Black woman in a Black community. You would think that that would be so simple. Like Natalie Cole used to say, I'm catching hell. Y'all remember that song? I'm catching hell. all the way from systems to churches and everything else. It is hard out here for a sister, probably because I speak the truth. You know, I'm just going to say what it is. I don't know what else to do. I guess I'm not politically correct. I don't know. But I need your help. I know I'm saying that. I'm almost begging for it. How many times I said that? At least 5 or 6? Because it's not about me when I come to you. I'm very well seasoned, very well educated, very well experienced. I probably created some of the medication you take. I was a scientist before. I do this work because of what she said. It's my calling. That's why I'm a CPO, a Chief People Officer responsible for the world's greatest assets, which is its people. And I think that we all are. Because whether it's religion, whether it's your occupation or anything else, it has been said in this room, it's rooted in love. And that's all. You see, I had a brother. The first time I met him, he was in a casket. Because I didn't meet my biological father until I was 30 years old. And I went and made that trip to Chicago because I felt like I could see and meet my family. I didn't want them to put my name on the obituary because of my mouth. And when people get in my face, be like, oh, she got ass like your daddy. I was going to light into them. So I was just like, you know, don't write it down. Let me come on in and let me come on out. But what I did notice when I got to the church, it was a long line, and we were waiting for a very long time. So we had to go upstairs to the sanctuary. When I got to the top of the steps, the casket was outside of the door, not inside of the church in front of the pew. And when I asked my dad about it, he said, you'll find out. Gotcha. And so during his eulogy, he said this, and I told you he was a pastor. He said, my son had HIV, he smoked crack cocaine, and he was schizophrenic. I stood at this pulpit, and I watched him come in 15 minutes after church began and left 15 minutes before it ended because of how you treat him. So since my son did not feel comfortable coming inside of the church alive, I'm not bringing him in here dead. And that's why he's outside. And when I come down from this pulpit, find you another pastor. I'm done. Thank you.